The Volkswagen Passat is the unassuming workhorse of the Volkswagen brand. It's consistently one of the best-selling mid-size sedans in Europe, and almost all of us know a few people that own one of these, and they are especially popular in Ireland. As you can tell, this particular model is the estate version, which is very hit and miss depending on if you like estate cars, but I'm a big fan. How can you not like the practicality it offers? There were strong rumours back in 2019 that they would discontinue this iconic Volkswagen, but Volkswagen assured us that this isn't going anywhere. This particular car is the Bluemotion variant, meaning it has a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that has about 120 horsepower. It also has a DSG automatic transmission, which altogether should promise good fuel economy with enough power for the average person to never really worry. A surprising fun fact is this Bluemotion has a 1 mile per hour higher top speed than other basic level Passats because of the improved aerodynamics on these Bluemotion models. Let's have a look around the interior of the Volkswagen Passat. So initially start off, flat bottom steering wheel, classic Volkswagen. It's stitched leather. It feels really nice. It's perfect. I don't think you can get anything better for a car around this price. I love it. Dials, as you can see, nothing too special, just lots of heads-up information just there that you can deal with. No heads-up actual display though. Let's have a look over to the middle center console. My first biggest thing that I love so much about one of these kind of cars, I love analog clocks because they're just classy and they feel really nice. I really like that. Center console, you've got this lovely kind of silver finish. You can see this kind of effect on it. It is plastic, but I think it looks really good. It looks super clean. We have the automatic gearbox, the DSG. It makes the car feel a lot faster though, in my opinion, because I've driven a car with a similar engine, but it was in a manual mode. And while that one is fast, this one feels probably slightly faster with the dual clutch. As for the rest of the interior, this slide forward and backwards, it feels really nice. Like everything in here feels solid and sturdy. The seats are really nice as well. They're these ergo comfort seats. I think they're on the slightly upgraded line, but they're super comfortable. Like I really like them. They're perfect for long journeys. They're really good. There's lots of little storage bits here, plenty of stuff that you can put things in. With the radio, you've got pretty much everything. It's kind of the standard Volkswagen system that they've had for the last while. This car is from 2015, so it's not the facelift Passat, but otherwise all this is perfect. It works really well. It's got a little sensor there to pop things up when your hand gets near. Dual zone climate control, that's all very good. I really like that. Everything's just good, you know, everything's just up to a good standard. It's nothing absolutely special, but you know, the whole car looks really nice. I really like it. So now we're out on the road on the Passat, and immediately it's just a lovely place to be. Like I really enjoy this cabin. It's so comfy. It just feels like a bit more premium than it is. It feels like everything's really nice in here and it's up to a good standard. You really feel happy with the interior immediately. It's quite big, obviously. There's plenty of room in the back. I wasn't going to bore you with doing a video of how big the back is, but there's plenty of room, trust me, especially if you fold down the back seats. And the engine is very smooth in drive, but in some of the lower gears it can be a touch jerky and a touch sensitive with the throttle. So we'll just head around this roundabout. The cornering feels good. It doesn't roll too much. It rolls a little bit, but it's really not that bad. And let's take it out of this corner. Oh, it feels lovely. It's really smooth once it gets past first and second gear, which, as I said, it can be a touch jerky, but it's lovely when you're out on the road. I took this recently on a long road trip up pretty much the whole length of Ireland, and I never got uncomfortable in the seat once. It was just super nice. It's perfect for cruising as well. You got cruise control. This doesn't have a huge amount of upgraded things inside it, so it actually is really good for the specification that it is. It feels super comfortable. Like I would 100% recommend that this is a good option for someone to buy. I personally prefer the estate style. I think that's just a personal preference thing. I've always really liked estate cars. I think they look kind of nice, especially performance ones. Obviously this isn't a performance one, but I just like the look of an estate, and I love the practicality that you get out of it, especially compared to the sedan. I think I prefer the estate to the sedan, but again, that's complete personal preference. And the car, as you can hear right now, probably you can't hear much, it's so smooth, it's so comfortable. I'm just doing 90 kilometers an hour right now on this main road, and it's just like nothing. I can't really feel any bumps or anything. You're quite isolated from the road. It's really nice. It's a really nice place to be. The steering wheel feels great. Everything feels like it's up to date as well. There's nothing about it that's that kind of lets you down. I was just trying to look around for anything that I was kind of disappointed with. Maybe a bit cheap plastics, a bit low down, but what car doesn't have that these days? It's so quiet in here. It's so nice. And then if you want a sportier journey or something a bit more exciting, you can put the gearbox into sport, which will rev out the engine probably, I think it's at about another 1,000 RPM. So usually it changes from about 3,500. This will let you take it up to about 4,000. So we'll put it into sport mode and see how it reacts. Now the gearbox for shifting down, if you put your foot down, can be a little bit slow. But again, this is not some kind of performance car, so it probably doesn't have that kind of map on the gearbox. But it's more than enough. And really low down, first, second gear, and keeping the revs low, this thing has a lot of punch to it. A lot. So, okay, we should be able to slip in here in front of this tractor. Oh, that's my tripod in the back. Okay, so it's in sport mode. There we go. There's plenty of power on top right at the start. Nice thing changed up there. Okay, this is nice. So yeah, right on the lower end, it does feel so much faster, so much nippier. And when you're accelerating out, see, there's plenty of power in the lower gears, but then the only problem that I find with it is when you get up the gears, up past first, second and third gear, then you really notice that the power is kind of not really there. And then if you're someone that's looking for that bit of extra power, especially in fourth, fifth, sixth gear, I would definitely recommend to get the 2-liter diesel, because it just packs a bit more punch. Especially, this car is very torquey in the lower range, like in the gears that I mentioned before. It has plenty of torque to put down, but then it kind of loses it after a while, which is a small shame, but it definitely feels fast enough. It's more than enough. It's more than capable of overtaking anything that you want to do on the road, and you can feel comfortable doing it, which I think is basically the biggest thing you need in a car. You want to be confident with overtaking. So on that. So on to some things that I don't really like too much about this car is some of the plastics in the cabin. I don't know if you could hear it, but if I press them or touch them, they can be a touch squeaky. And you can hear squeaks sometimes if you're going around a bend, maybe a little bit faster. And the pedals as well that your feet were on, I've had it, not right now, but sometimes they kind of are squeaky, which is, I don't know, a little annoying. Like, you don't want to hear little rattles and stuff while you're driving along. But for the most part, it's very good, but sometimes can be a little bit squeaky in places when you're touching things. So that's just one small little thing. One other small thing that I don't particularly like too much either is that being a diesel, when you get it up kind of in the rev range, the diesel is very loud. You hear a really loud kind of thump. I'll try to give you an example of it now. I don't know if you could hear that too well on the mic, but you do, and you really feel the vibrations in the cabin. So that is something. It's not a big deal, but at lower speeds, when you're not sending the engine and bringing it up the rev range, it's really not too bad. And you'd very rarely notice it. It's just when you're pushing the car a little bit more, it can be a little bit more tough. All round, I was incredibly surprised. I thought when I drove this car, it would be an absolute lump and really kind of just not nice to drive, but it's been quite the opposite. It's super comfortable to get in. It's got enough get up and go to pretty much do anything you want on the roads within limits. It's a great little car, and I'm just, again, so surprised. If you're looking for a daily car, maybe a car that is a bit more economical, I think this might be the car for you. Even when you're driving this car a bit more aggressively, the fuel consumption you'd expect to be bad, but it's 45 mpg when you're driving aggressively, which is still very good. And then when you're not driving aggressively, you're going to get 55 to 60 miles per gallon. They quote 70 miles per gallon on the model brochure or whatever, but you never get those. You never really get any of those figures. So it's, again, still super economical. So this is a great option if you want a practical car for a business, for a home, anything like that. It's fantastic. I was really genuinely impressed by this. It just offers such a complete package for your money, and there's not any huge drawbacks that I can think of. Maybe if you just want a bigger engine size, that may be the only thing that you want, but you're not sacrificing any quality, any luxury, anything like that. So, bang on. Even the road that I'm on right now is genuinely not very good. I'll see if I can get a video of it for you, but It smooths out the bumps really well, considering this is just on springs. It does a really fantastic job. I'm very impressed by it. It also has features like auto sensing headlights, so when it goes dark it will turn on your headlights, but it's not like the auto headlights that dim for you. But you know, they're nice little features that you can get on a car in this price range that just kind of add to the overall quality of it, and it's just really nice. The views are great around the car. You can see all around. Just makes for a great little practical car. So for my recommendation on the car, I would 100% say if you're in the market for something like this and you've been looking at it, this is a great car, and you can't really go wrong with most Volkswagen products, but especially the Passat. It's one of the most iconic cars that they release, and it's been around for so long, especially in Europe. So I'd 100% have a look, get a test drive and see what you think. Like, this is quite the car.